The warrior within. Within every man there is a warrior. Although he may never express that warrior, it is in him. If we look back over the history of the world, we are a warring people. Humanity has been at war since the beginning of recorded history. Probably before that, because there was no records. But even on cave walls, you see writings or scratchings of war. So what is it about war? I read that when some of the men were in Vietnam, they felt more alive in country, which means they felt more alive when they knew that any second they may get shot and killed. As a former amateur and professional boxer, and I still like to get in the ring, I don't know what it is about it, but when you're in there and you know that that other person is trying to hurt you, and you stand up to that and defend yourself and try to hurt him, not seriously, but to keep him from hurting you, there's something about that that gives you a feeling of exhilaration that doesn't compare with any drug or alcohol I've ever used or drank. And it lasts for several days. And also beyond the several days of exhilaration and elation that you get from it, there's a feeling of confidence that you can protect yourself, that you can fight if you need to. And many times, that keeps you from getting into a fight. I know for me, when I was boxing regular, or when I spar on a regular basis, that you can pretty well say anything to me, and I'm like, I don't care. You have a hard time arousing my anger or my desire to fight or to retaliate, because I know that I can, but I know that I don't have to. And I will say this also, it has kept me out of a lot of problems in life, because people knew I could fight and they weren't sure if they could take me, so they would leave me alone, which is great. And I've had my ass handed to me more than once, I'll say that. I've been beat down, I've been knocked down, and I got back up. I've had my ribs broke, I've been cut, I've had my nose broke. And you would think, maybe if you've never done any of that fighting, you would think, God, you're crazy. But if I'm crazy, then so was Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Hannibal, the man who gave Rome its greatest challenge, and many, many others. And those guys were fighting in the arena of death. I'm only fighting in the arena of a little pain, or maybe a lot of pain sometimes. So if you've never been in the ring, or if you've never had any kind of combat in a combat sport, I suggest you try it. Maybe it's not for you, but I'm telling you what, the pain is definitely worth the gain. I'll say it this way, I've been living 64 years. I still get in the ring with my boys, and it still does the same thing for me that it did for me in my 20s, and I can still fight. And most people think a guy over 40 or 50, he's done. And unfortunately in our society today, most people over 35 or 40, they are done, because they've allowed themselves to be done. They've allowed themselves to buy into the programming of society that once you get past 25 or 30, it's all downhill, and that's bullcrap. It's downhill if you believe it's downhill. My life is better now than it's ever been. I enjoy my body physically. Do I have some aches and pains? Of course I do. And most people will tell you, well, you're getting old, you can't do that, or that's your age. I had the same aches and pains in my teens, in my 20s, 30s, 40s. Nobody said that then in my 20s. But they'll tell you that now. Even friends of yours will tell you that. You're getting too old for that. And that's bull. That's bull. It's bull. I'm living proof. And many other people are too. I've seen guys that are my age and older that look great. Are in great physical shape. In better physical shape than most men in their 20s. So if you're out there and you're feeling old, stop and think about that. Is that really true? Do you really have to follow that program? Now, sure, we're all going to pass on one of these days, but most people die before they're ever put in the grave. And do you want to be one of those? I don't think so, or you wouldn't be listening to me today. So I'm going to post this video of my son Claude and I fighting, and then I'll show you one later of Henry and I. And I may show you the one where Henry hit me in the ribs and I had to stop because I think he cracked my rib. But it's not too bad. It's been like 3 weeks now, so I'm healing up. But it's worth it. And you're not going to know that unless you try it. So here you go. This is Claude and I. We had a really good round. I'm helping him train for a fight. So I let him work with me in the corner. I hope you enjoy.